Well, welcome to another episode of the Grim and Bloody Podcast, and I am just stoked for today. I'm Kevin Nickelson, writer and reviewer for HorrorNews.net, Scary Monsters Magazine, We Belong Dead Magazine, and anywhere else. And I've got my usual cast of cohorts, cronies, sidekicks, partners in crime, what you want to call them. I've got Anthony DeRouen. Anthony, how are you?
Doing good.
We've got Al Omega, the award-winning host of the Creature Feature Show. Al, how are you?
I'm already tired for Comic-Con.
Already tired for it. Okay.
Already tired for it.
Okay. You're saving up all that tiredness.
Already exhausted. I haven't gotten on the plane yet, and I'm tired. So
you got 20,000 steps a day coming up too. Get ready.
Yeah, carrying equipment no less.
And we've got Joe Flynn, the award-winning creative TV horror host. Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hey guys, I'm doing great. So I hope everyone is too. So enjoy this lovely show today, guys.
And Joe is getting ready for a Twitch broadcast, which is coming up. I think the 24th. You're going to be playing some videos and things like that.
Yep.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, with us today, we have. We have just such an incredible, beautiful lady, joining us, who has done some truly horrific scare shows. So she loves to scare the heck out of me, out of you. And that is, I'm going to say writer and actress. Are you producer, director?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a director.
No, not director. Producer, but definitely not director.
Okay. But that is Charlotte Kirk, who is joining us all the way from the United Kingdom to discuss her career and discuss something coming up called Duchess, which I don't know. I'm taking a look at the trailer, and that it comes out August 12th. I understand. I'm taking a look at the trailer. 9th. I'm sorry?
August 9th.
August 9th.
Oh, good. I'll make that up.
Yeah, but this looks like a badass, girl who's just, I called it, I was watching the trailer again for it last night. I called it in my head. She is she's a sawed-off shotgun. When maybe you needed maybe you have something with a silencer or a derringer, something more, more eloquent. She's a sawed-off shotgun.
Oh yes. The trailer doesn't even show the Columbia neckties. The other things that are in there. I'm so excited. So excited about this one. I think it's. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. So I'll start and say that you are one thing that is that I'm a devotee of is the Actors Studio. And I know you had some really significant training with the Actors Studio under the guise of the Lee Strasberg program and I'm thinking of Uta Hagen and just some of these incredible thespian greats, and I keep picturing you in the classes there, and at the same time I'm picturing you in the Lair and in some slot classes. How does somebody go from learning method acting and learning how to use the face like Stanislavski has to practical effects, creatures, zombies, and things like that? Is that something that you just you wanted to be an actress at first and learn the craft, but yet you also had a fascination with the imaginative, with horror, with fantasy?
Yes, it's a bit of both. So before The Lair, I did another horror movie, which wasn't. I would call it Reckoning. I would call it a horror movie, right. But it was as much as a drama thriller.
Sure.
So I kind of eased into it. I mean, it's still got a lot of blood and supernatural element to it and all the other stuff. But yeah, then obviously I did the Lair after that. But they came out of different. It wasn't like the Lair came out of. It was during COVID, and me and my writing partner, director Neil Marshall, said, "Okay, what can we do that's COVID friendly? We kill people off, so we have as minimal cast as possible. I don't know. Let's shoot it in a house in the desert, as COVID friendly as possible." And then it evolved to a monster movie set in Afghanistan. It just, from one thing to the other, it's very difficult to write, especially Neil, like contained, low budget. I mean, then the explosions came in, and there was quite a lot of cast in this one, and the aliens and all that good stuff. So it came about to make something completely different, and then we ended up with the Lair. That's how the Lair came about, and it wasn't. Again, it wasn't like I want to do a monster movie. We were set out to do something very different for that particular film, and it was my first role that was, very action heavy from start to finish. But I think if you've got a great foundation of work, studying Lee Strasberg or whatever it is, I think you can kind of do anything. Obviously action is a very particular set of skills. It's not, it's a lot of physicality. So there's a lot of rehearsing and, working with the stunties, and it's like learning a dance, all the choreography and stuff. But it was an incredible foundation, just going to the Lee Strasberg studios. Amazing. So I was trying to answer too. I think I answered that. I kind of go off on a tangent here and there.
No. And I thought that actually just looking at your career and looking at the actor studio, and I think because some of the characters that I've seen you play are characters that are incredibly flawed, multi-layered characters. So there's this whole area where you can use the face, you can do method acting, you can draw from experiences and so forth. So I think that probably served you well when you in playing these roles, and that was that had to have helped you a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Susan Batson is another teacher of mine who I went to after the actor studio, and she takes a lot of Lee Strasberg's. I think, if you haven't felt hate or fear or love, how can you act that if you haven't felt that before? I don't know how you connect. I mean, I know a lot of actors do that. There's Stanislavski, there's lots of techniques, minor, but I certainly, but I take, depending on the role as well, I think, some roles are very physical. I think it depends on, but not every moment you draw from your own emotions. No. It depends scene by scene. And it was The Reckoning that was my first film that, and that was a tough, emotional film. Like every scene you had to be, I mean, it's a difficult one to watch. It's very sad.
Anyone who is a Neil Marshall fan will see a lot of with The Reckoning, with Dog Soldiers.
So good.
Love good. It. No, well, I was going to say they will see the isolated cabin, the isolated home, the group of people being besieged by monsters. He loves to do that. So I can tell when I'm watching The Reckoning, yep, that's a Neil Marshall film. This is this is his. So I can see where what you were saying about The Reckoning as being more than just a horror film. That is something that starts out as one thing and morphs into another. Well, that's what Dog Soldiers was.
Yeah. And also what I love about Neil's writing is it's normal people. They're not superheroes. They're not spies. No. Normal people in extraordinary circumstances.
Right.
I think that's really kind of what Duchess. Well, she's a normal girl, but then she's cast under circumstances.
I do question about whether Sean Pertwee is normal, but is normal, because if I want end of the world, type of Galactus creatures facing us, and I want somebody to defend who's maybe not a superhero, I want either Carl Urban from the series The Boys, or I want Sean Pertwee.
Yes.
Because Sean Pertwee will stare you down, no matter how tall you are as a creature. He'll stare you down. It's like, is that the best you got? Is that the best you got? So I'm going to go get this big stick, and I'm going to go.
Those eyes, incredible. But he was, in Duchess. Yeah, no, he was the goodie. Because obviously in The Reckoning he was the antagonist. Such a great role. It was amazing.
Yeah, but we'll go ahead and definitely talk about him. Him some more. But let's go back and talk about the Lair. Some fun with doing that. How was that production like?
In terms of production, it was easier because it was, we'd done The Reckoning. I was very green on that movie, so it's the second film that I kind of know how the elements and the structure works. But in terms of acting, it was definitely my most challenging physical role yet. Before that role, I'd never fired a gun before, and then it was like, oh yeah, you got to fire some AK-47s and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, yes. And there wasn't much training, so I just won it, just went for it. But yeah, definitely my most difficult, challenging role. Yes, we had lots of films what we wanted to live up to and inspirations, Aliens, Sigourney Weaver vibes, and
I definitely get the Sigourney Weaver vibe with you. That is that's definitely so all you have to. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say the creatures as well. I thought that was I loved some of the effects on that movie. I mean, the I don't want to. Well, spoilers. Well, it's out, so the elevator where the hand goes through the face, like that is split second. If you blink, you might miss. That was wow. I mean, it's some moment, and then the whole tentacle thing is going. I think it's really interesting. It's not just an alien. It's alien mixed DNA with humans, experiments and Russian experimenting. I loved. The story was great, and I loved it. It did have a touch of the Dog Soldiers vibe to it as well, with the whole ensemble soldiers, in the middle of nowhere fighting off these creatures. So, it was a great one to film.
Tentacles can always be fun. I wanted to ask about, you shot in a variety of different places. You shot in Italy for Ulysses and Dark Odyssey, and then you shot in Budapest and Afghanistan for these others. What's it like being in these very different places? I mean, one we were just talking about, it seemed like that was very desolate and away from everything, and yet in Italy, not. So what was that like? Especially tell us if there were any logistical problems that popped up that were fun.
It's number one is the language barrier is always tough. So I just finished 2 films in the US, and I have to say it was so refreshing just to have crew that speaks English and you can understand them, and I think it makes a big difference, to be honest. But got The Reckoning and The Lair in Budapest, and The Reckoning was shot on a studio backlot. We had the castle and all that was already there, so that was great. And then The Lair we shot in a quarry. It was great. They've got great local crew. So you don't need to fly anyone out, and some great actors as well. So, but then contrast that to, we shot Duchess in Tenerife, one of the Canary Islands, To be honest, it's luck of the draw because we didn't have great experiences in certain countries because logistical, they say, oh, come here, shoot here, and then they've got no crew, then you've got to fly everyone in, and there's logistic problems and production problems, and so it can get a little bit chaotic, and then the language barrier. But overall, I think the locations, like for Duchess, were insane, were so beautiful, and we got that in Tenerife. Malta, the film that we just finished, Compulsion, we shot that in Malta. Amazing. It was set in Malta and we filmed it in Malta, and that was great. I mean, they're shooting, or they've shot Gladiator there as well. So it's so many nice locations, and it doubles for a lot of places as well. So but yeah, every it has its challenges though.
Jonathan Hurt once said, sometimes you make a stinker and you don't care because you just went there for the location. So it sounds like that was you were very happy with the location, getting to spend your time there.
Yeah, and I think a big thing of, yes, that's true. A big thing of especially Neil for Compulsion and Duchess, he was like, I want this film to look good. He's like, look at the Bond movies, the locations, it's not just a green screen, the locations are great, people go there to see this. And he really wanted to, vast, like the world. I mean, Duchess was originally, because it's about diamonds, it was meant to be shot in South Africa, but we wasn't sure if we wanted to go there for certain reasons, quite dangerous or whatever, so we ended up shooting it in Tenerife, and it still worked for the story. So but having said that, Neil had shot in Cape Town before and said it was great when he shot Black Sails there. But yeah, I think, but then again, I just shot one in Kansas City, Missouri, and one in I love shooting in New Mexico. Loved it. What a cute Radioso. What a cute town. Oh, I love it. The deers, the wildlife. I mean, you've got to bring the crew in, but they're only in Albuquerque, so it's easy. Love New Mexico. One of my favorite places, to be honest, to shoot.
Not in the summer, but yes, it's gonna be a lovely place.
Yes,
true.
Yes.
2 months ago, so yeah, right now. But then at Christmas, it's meant to be beautiful, right? With all the snow, it's all Christmassy. Yeah. And my cup, Radioso.
There we go.
You gotta love it. Well, people, if you want to find Charlotte, she'll be in New Mexico during Christmas. No, that's just a joke.
Well, no, I love it.
So you're about to do a film with probably one of, when I was growing up, the guy I despised the most, as did the rest of America, Dolph Lundgren. Because Rocky, and then I grew to love him in Expendables. But he is one of the ultimate action heroes
come on.
Of our
you
generation.
Gotta love Dolph. You gotta love Dolph.
Yeah,
I come in peace. You go in pieces. I love that movie. Love it.
And then after I finished shooting with him, I watched Universal Soldiers. Wow, what a freaking movie! Wow. No, so that was the film I shot in New Mexico. And I think, part of it is also the experience, right? And I had an amazing experience shooting that film with Dolph Lundgren and Michael J. White, two action, legends. So that was absolutely amazing. And, simple action storyline. Dolph plays number one hitman in the, number one hitman. I'm his mark. We fall in love, so he doesn't kill me. And then number two hitman comes after both of us, and we're on the run. So it's the fun stuff. It was just fun.
You get to ask him the very fun question of like, I'm in love with you. Can you please not kill me? Do you get to ask that?
But he's so he's just a pro, just an absolute pro. I mean, obviously, like, you have to be, oh my god, I'm working with these people, but then you end up on set and just we're all here to do the same job. We're just all actors, and we're just here to do the best film possible.
So you definitely have a knack for action films. You love it. You love the physicality of it because you keep coming back and you keep putting out these hits. Talk to me about when they ask you if you want to do your own stunts. Do you want to do your own stunts, or do you say, I'm not a Tom Cruise. I'm not flying off this cliff on a motorbike. You can happily bring in my double and we'll just call it a wrap.
I mean, you know what? It depends. It depends. There's certain things I'll do, and there's certain things I won't do. And then certain things I wouldn't think I'd be scared to do, and then I try it, and then I love it. I mean, small things like, for example, The Reckoning. I'd never ridden a horse before. I thought, oh, I'll get my stunty to do that. I did it and absolutely loved it. Sword fighting, did that in The Reckoning, absolutely loved it. And then the Lair, I did a lot. I mean, there's certain things like falling down a mountain. I'm like, nah, you can do that. I don't want to break my back for this shot. It's not worth it. No. I think, but we'll see. Maybe.
I bet you were like, no, I'm good. That's what the stunt person gets paid for. I'm good.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, so much better at it. Like, they just react better, and it's just like, no, they're pros. Just let them do
training.
it.
Very helpful training.
I remember watching The Lair. Geez, it's been 2 years already. It felt like a little bit longer than that. Maybe it's just been a long 2 years. But I watched The Lair on Shudder, and when I was watching it, I said, because I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, and the games from the 90s. I thought all of the movies, maybe except for the second one, they were all screwed up. It was all completely way off. But I thought The Lair this is the Resident Evil movie that we should have gotten in the first place. We should have had Neil Marshall doing this with Charlotte Kirk, and 2 years later to have you on the show, it's kind of like one of those geek out moments. Because when I heard you were coming, I'm like, wait a minute, that name sounds familiar. You did The Lair. I'm like, that was the movie that I love watching. That I went like, why can't we get more movies like this? And it's funny how you talked about how the film came about. Like, we were originally going to do this, and it became this because the end product is exactly what a lot of us were looking for in the first place.
Yes, exactly. And by the way, the poster behind you, the thing. I mean,
yeah,
classic. It was a massive inspiration for The Lair. Watched a lot of The Thing and lots of John Carpenter movies. I mean, it's incredible. But yeah, again, it's something that it evolved, and it's one of those films that I wouldn't say happened by accident, but we just didn't plan on making a monster movie, and then it happened.
I love I love the photo bombing that Molly is doing right now.
Yeah, I had a wave. No, Charlotte, I have to take you back to your film Vice. Did you learn anything from Bruce Willis or Thomas Jane on that set? Did they teach you any kind of action tricks?
Wow, so Vice was one of my first movies. I didn't have any scenes with Thomas Jane. I met Bruce. Just he's just so charismatic. All he has to do is like smile, and it's like, wow, yeah, you're Bruce Willis. You just have to do that look, and that's it. It's just like he has this undescribable energy, charisma. He doesn't really have to do much.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah,
doing great things for bald guys everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's him and I would say Jason Statham.
Jason Statham.
But you know what? It's just like in general, like less is more. Less is more, and I've not like, of course, role like I did just play the baddie, and sometimes again, but you don't want to play like an arch villain, but you have to put a little bit more something into that. But for the most part, less is more. Learn from the best. Brando, he came along and just when all these other actors in Strasbourg, we did Streetcar Named Desire, and Vivian Leigh is an incredible actress, but you see her performance in Streetcar Named Desire, and then Brando, he just was just like so still and so casual, and he stole the show, if you ask, in my opinion. So when in doubt, do less.
Well, you bring it up. I'll say this about Bruce Willis: he tells more with a look than most people can do with lines of dialogue.
Exactly. That is it.
And that's Marlon Brando as well, just with a look.
That's it. Incredible.
Now you have another horror film that looks like it's on the horizon, The Possession of Gladstone Manor. What can you tease about that one?
Yeah, so that's the one I shot in Missouri. It was absolutely great. It was actually my first horror film that it wasn't like my production, like producing or writing. So it's really nice going to like another horror film and see. I mean, Lynn Shaye, Barbara Crampton, just the greats. Jesse Metcalfe, Kaylee Cowan, and that's a straight up ghost haunted house film, which is really cool. And I hadn't done a horror film like that before. So that was really, really fun. Very atmospheric and beautifully shot. So I haven't seen anything, it's in the edit, but I'm very excited about that one.
Now, Lynn Shaye and Barbara Crampton. Yeah, you're with some good company right there.
Oh my God. And our first, like, I don't want to give any spoilers, but like, well, I kind of will. But her son, like, literally dying in front of us. And then, like, we're like there together having this incredible moment, screaming, crying. It was like just incredible, like on the spot, bam, both of us. And it was like, it's our first scene together. And she was just so cool, so cool. And she's a real trooper, you know, a real trooper. We shot in this really like haunted, like real haunted house, / museum. Yeah, very
really cool. Haunted, really.
Yeah, you could just tell.
Yeah.
See, I know it's a thing. It's a thing. There's houses out there that are actually shit. There's houses that actually have spirits, and all you have to do is put a camera in it and you feel it. I've driven by one a few times in the Bay Area, and you just know. You kind of just know.
Yeah, and by the way, that literally is the log line to the film. Like, this house is a being, is a thing. It's the house, has the possession, and it's interesting. You said take photograph, because it actually is about these pictures. You take pictures of the spirits that go through. It's very interesting. But what you just said is basically the synopsis of the film.
Oh, nice.
Well, I was going to say you had me at Jesse Metcalfe. Being in the film. That's truly a handsome star, and so forth. So you had me right there. I'm sold on it. I'm going to take a look.
Absolutely awesome. Yeah, I was like, so I've got to play his fiance. Well, that's going to be tough. All right.
Yeah.
And then after a few weeks, New Mexico.
Suddenly had all these extra takes that you had to go through, right?
Right. Wait, that kissing scene.
That wasn't quite right.
That kissing scene wasn't quite right. Let's do it again.
And then 2 weeks later, playing Dolph's wife. So that was, action star to Jesse Metcalfe. It was so cool. Very, very cool. So they're the two films that I just finished in the US. And as I said, it was so refreshing to shoot something in the US, I have to say. I love American crews. It's just cool. It brings this energy and, just the love of filmmaking. I guess a lot of other people do too, but you just don't understand them. You don't know what they're saying. So no, love that. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So, what can, like an overall view, what can folks expect from Duchess? I would not say that I've not seen it. None of us have, and we'll see it on August 9th. But I would say that you don't expect the ordinary from Neil Marshall and from yourself. But it's like your view, what do you think? What are people what will people be surprised about with Duchess?
First of all, it's not a horror movie. Not a horror, but it still has the Neil Marshall stamp on it. It's got the great action, a lot of violence. But what I love about it is, yes, we're selling it. It is an action gangster movie, but it's got, like any incredible gangster movie, it's got themes and layers to it. Like The Godfather is about family, love, and betrayal, and this is exactly what this. Like you see like revenge films, and like within the first 5 minutes, you don't care about the characters. They die and she's out on revenge.
Yeah.
Another inspiration for this film was Man on Fire, Denzel Washington.
There was an Amy Weinstein movie that sounded just like what you mentioned, Charlotte. Like within 5 minutes, I could care less. It was just action.
Which one was it?
Geez. It was the one where she was poisoned
So
and
Amy
she had
Wein-
like 16 hours to live. And from there, it was just, I'm just going to go find the guy and kill him.
And
What was the name of that?
Rush or something?
Not even, Elizabeth
That's
Winstead from The Thing, 2011.
Wein-
Now that's just generally the plot of any Jason Statham,
Yeah.
film, where you're looking for its formula.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
she's an ordinary girl who falls in love. Like, it's relatable. So falls in love with this guy who's okay. He's a mafia cartel guy, and really bad shit happens, and she ends up taking over. So, it's like her rise to power as well. It's her rise to power. So, and again, she's not going to be as strong as men or physically, but she has to outsmart them, and she gets this incredible her little family that she goes after, and it's there's really no comparison, to be honest. But again, like our inspiration was, wouldn't it be great to make a gangster movie? Wouldn't it be even better to make a gangster movie with a woman Dom of the boss?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I got to say to folks, just based on history. If you think that this is going to be an ordinary action thriller, this is Neil Marshall. There is no ordinary. None. And if you think that this is going to be not a horror film, that may be very well true, but there may be some horrific elements in this. Because again, this is Neil Marshall.
I mean, as they like Colombian neckties and people tigers, and it's graphic. It's graphic, but I think it's justified. It's not graphic just to be graphic. It's justified in the story, and it's there. And it's important. And I love a good boy. I mean, one of the inspirations for this film was Scarface. I mean, it's one of the best films.
There you go, shooting for the stars there.
Exactly.
Very just going to go for the best.
Exactly, but that was
shout out.
Can you imagine if you made a female Scarface? Could you imagine? Like, it's and another thing for this film was all out. A lot of action films are very vanilla. Oh, we don't want to show too much blood or this or that. So we wanted to go all out and to be outrageous, because there is a lot of stuff out there and there is a lot of content, and I think that to get the audience's attention these days, you kind of got to whack them and go, look at how wow, and they got to go wow, word of mouth, people talk about it, and then hopefully more people will like it.
I wanted to mention.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I like how you do the slap move just now, Charlotte. The thing getting people's attention. I think the way that Neil would do it is a backhanded slap, like with knuckles, or punch.
Oh yeah. Well, that's it. Well, her thing is she's an ordinary girl, but she's an amateur boxer, which comes into play. So Duchess would definitely.
Go ahead, Anthony.
What I was going to say was I wanted to go back to Neil Marshall, because you made a couple references, like it's not a horror movie, but the mark of a good director, a good filmmaker, is whatever genre they're making a film in, they have their own stamp on it, their own trademark, their brand of filmmaking. And Christopher Nolan comes to mind. He's done films in a number of genres. He's done thrillers, science fiction, historical, Oppenheimer. He's done war. When you get to that level, when you can just jump into a genre, but you're bringing your own focus, your own kind of style. It could be whether it's framing, it could be the narrative, it could be the actors that you're bringing on. Neil Marshall, I always found, is one of those directors that I'll always give his work a chance, because he just has a unique flair, whether it be with the Lair, whether it be with the Duchess, Reckoning. He has a unique flair that rides with me, that I'm like, I like your films. So if you're making a Western, I'm going to check it out because I know what kind of flavor, what kind of level of quality that you're bringing. So, having a director of that stature on your film, despite whatever genre you're in, it's going to bring an audience because people know his work and they follow it. And I think you're just you're really good company. Hopefully it becomes one of those relationships where you're constantly being added because I just like working with this director. I like what you do on the set. I like how the film looks when it's finished. And let's keep it going. So just want to say because I'm a Neil Marshall fan too.
100%. That's it. And again, like people say, so you must love horror films, or it's not really. As an actor, director, writer. Well, for me personally, it's not about the genre, it's about the story and the script. That's it. That's it.
Charlotte, it seems to appear you're all over the internet. How can our listeners follow you on social media?
Yes, I'm on Instagram, Charlotte Kirk Official, and Facebook, well, Charlotte Kirk.
Thank you. And, I wish you all the best with the upcoming projects as well as our...
Thank you so much. If any of you are in LA, we would love to invite you to the premiere of Duchess, which is on the 6th of August.
Oh, nice.
We can do that.
Well, Al can be there. Al's the traveler.
Yeah.
He's already packing his bags.
We would love to. We'd love to be there. I was. Is your Instagram going to be filled with Molly pictures?
Quite a lot of Molly on there. Yeah.
See, so she is like she's your model. That kind of thing. Your muse, so to speak.
Well, actually, in The Reckoning, Molly Pryor was based on Molly, and it's very interesting.
Okay. There we go.
Okay.
Sense now.
Molly, you're a star. You are a star now.
No, and then at the end of the film, it's got special thanks to Molly Pryor.
Nice.
Oh, that is cool. Does she get the special expensive brand of dog food?
Molly gets his own trailer.
She's got a very stomach, so she has to have but then. Yeah, she needs good food.
No caviar version of dog food, for her.
She gets that, yeah.
Yeah, I've always been known to be drinking on set. Okay, I saw her with that little glass of champagne, going like, "Hey."
No, it is.
Joking.
Well, before we go, Al, any last questions? Joe, Kevin?
I would say let's see if we can talk a little bit about your production company and. If you want to just give a shout out for your production in a company and talk about upcoming ventures.
Absolutely. So my next, so I've got project now with my production company, Primal Empire Studios. One is, you're going to love this, 7 Brides for 7 Brothers, but twist it to horror, wrong turn, Hills Have Eyes, Cabin in the Woods. Yeah,
7 Brides for 7 Mutants?
There you go. Exactly.
Okay.
What is it called? 7 Prides?
Completely different. I've optioned a romantic book from a New York Times bestseller, so I feel like I want to dip into a nice romantic now after horror and death and all that stuff. So yeah.
I thought you were going to say 7 Brides for 7 Brothers horrific. What does that mean? Like 7 vampires for 7 zombies?
7 apocalypse,
something.
I mean, it could be. Ones can be horrific, so it's it's very culty. It's like it's got that vibe of X, that kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wrong Turn. Yeah, so I'm excited about that one.
I don't know, a few more of these movies, you might be a scream queen, Charlotte. So
yeah. All you now need is a movie about a Ouija board for Anthony.
So every show, you guys got to mention that. I keep telling you. I don't do Ouija board. I don't do none of that real shit.
I've never
Keep it
done
nice and fiction.
Yeah, it's
nice and fake, right? 100%. I drive right by the horror houses. I don't even stop in them. I say that house is haunted, and I keep going.
I get
I think it's funny because I'll say that just from my observing of Neil Marshall's films, I think he'd be the guy where bring me the Ouija board. Let's do this.
I'm like, no, I'm leaving.
Well, Charlotte, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you very much for spending your Saturday with us. What, Kevin?
No, let's go ahead and give a shout out to when does Duchess premiere again, and where can people stream it?
Yes, Sabana releasing it on the 9th of August, VOD, digital, Amazon, Apple, iTunes. You can already pre-order it now, actually.
Sure. Amazon, great, love it. It's terrific. One of our dear friends, and Apple iTunes, and I'll say I'm looking forward to it because I need another badass anti-hero to take down some scum,
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Anthony.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, that's okay. I was actually going to go into that. But Al, you want to take us out?
As always, thank you for being there, and we thank all of our listeners for watching us. And remember to watch horror films. Keep America strong.
That's our show, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, all.